The coffee shop became a starting point, not a destination. As the weeks passed, the ritual of the afternoon mug gave way to the deliberate pace of evening walks. They left the warmth of the shop behind, stepping into the cooling air of the city park. The transition was subtle but absolute. Here, there were no tables to act as barriers. They walked side by side, their boots crunching against the gravel paths, their shoulders occasionally brushing. The park was a landscape of shifting shadows under the amber glow of street lamps. Elias adjusted his stride to match hers, slowing down when she stopped. They moved through the park with a newfound focus, their attention fixed entirely on each other. Every step was a negotiation of space and proximity. Sarah walked with her hands deep in her pockets, her gaze scanning the path ahead, while Elias kept his eyes on the rhythm of her movement. The silence between them was no longer heavy, but a comfortable, shared space that allowed for pauses without the need to fill them. With every mile covered, the distance they had spent decades maintaining continued to shrink, replaced by the steady, synchronized beat of their footsteps. The rhythm of their walking faltered as the conversation shifted from the present to the wreckage of the intervening years. They stopped near a stone bridge, the water below churning in the dark. Sarah spoke first, her voice low, detailing the slow dissolution of her marriage, the quiet accumulation of resentment that had filled her home for a decade. She described the sterile office where she had spent her best years, the fluorescent lights, and the persistent, gnawing feeling that she was waiting for a life that never arrived. Elias listened, his hands gripping the cold stone of the bridge railing. He countered with his own history, the career that had demanded everything and returned only a hollow sense of achievement. He spoke of his own failed marriage, the way they had lived in the same rooms like ghosts, never truly touching. The words hung in the damp air, heavy and precise. They realized then that their lives had been running in parallel, two lines stretching across the same map but never intersecting. The ache was not a sudden discovery. It was a recognition of a long-standing, quiet hunger. They stood there, the city noise muted, finally naming the void they had both carried. They turned back toward the center of the park, their footsteps echoing against the pavement. The path ahead was illuminated by a single flickering street lamp that cast an amber glow over the gravel. Elias slowed his pace, his eyes fixed on the way the light caught the edge of the path. He stopped. The sudden silence was sharp. Sarah stopped too, turning to face him, her expression unreadable in the dim, shifting light. Elias did not look away. He felt the cold air against his skin, but his focus was entirely on the distance between them. He reached out, his fingers brushing the fabric of her sleeve, the contact brief and deliberate. He held his breath, the air in his lungs feeling heavy. "I think I've always had feelings for you," he said. He watched her reaction, his hand still hovering near her arm, his pulse thrumming in his throat. The street lamp buzzed overhead. Sarah did not move. She remained perfectly still, her gaze locked onto his, the amber light reflecting in her eyes. The silence stretched, filled only by the distant, rhythmic pulse of the city. She drew a long, shaky breath, her chest rising and falling with a visible effort. The tension that had defined their reunion, the guarded glances, the carefully measured words seemed to deflate in that single, ragged exhale. She shifted her weight, her shoulders dropping as if she were setting down a heavy burden she had carried for years. Her fingers twitched at her sides, then she reached out, her hand hovering briefly before she let it fall back. She looked down at the pavement, then back at Elias, her expression softening into something raw and unguarded. "Me too," she whispered. The distance that had separated them for 3 decades vanished. She stepped closer, closing the final inch of space between them.
If you made it this far, you already know the vibe. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and don't miss what's coming next. New content, real stories, every week. See you in the next one.